Welcome to Inside Ripple, the show where I try to invite guests from various fields and industries to talk to them about their experiences, but most importantly, have a nice conversation with them. Today, I have a really special guest. I had the privilege of doing an internship at their company, and I can't wait to discuss more about it and the details of their great, amazing company. Please welcome Louis Curtil.
Hello, Samuel. Thank you very much for
Hello.
inviting me today.
So, first off, with every guest, I guess, even though I know them to an extent personally or have met them through studies, I like them to give them an introduction about themselves. So, if you could give a brief introduction about who you are, what you do, the
Oh,
stuff you've been doing.
right. So, I'm Louis, one of the founders of Tiptoh. Um, I live in Belgium. I'm still 30 years old. Beside my professional career, I do enjoy sports a lot. I played field hockey on a high level for a long time. Now I'm retired, let's say. I had a back injury, so I stopped playing hockey, but now I play soccer, or football, I should say, um, near me in a small team. But I still enjoy sporting a lot. Um, I like to do other stuff like going tour skiing, surfing. Those are kind of my passions. For Tiptoe, I launched Tiptoe like 2.5 years ago. The idea, let's say. I do that with my brother-in-law Arnaud, that you also know, and yeah, that's kind of me. I like to cook also. That's maybe why I got into the plant-based food stuff. And yeah, maybe not unimportant. I was a physiotherapist before I started this new challenge.
That's actually very important because I was so impressed when I first heard you were like a kine in your past career, and now you started a plant-based milk company. But
Mhm.
we'll get to that. What does a typical day in in your life look like? Because you're a young entrepreneur, as you've said, you're
Mhm.
very active all the time. What does a typical day in the life look like for you?
Well, that's a question we get a lot. I think as founders, Arno and I have really yeah, not really a structure how our day is looking. We try to plan stuff in our calendars, but yeah, every day new stuff comes up. So sometimes when I wake up, I don't really know what I'm going to be doing. Um, so it can go everywhere. Like it's a lot of fixing problems. Oh damn, we forgot to do that, so we need to make work of that. So it's a bit working against deadlines a lot of the time, and it's not perfect. And we try to plan some stuff that needs to be done also. So it's a mix of doing stuff we don't know we're going to do, and stuff that we plan out. um, Besides that, it's kind of waking up. I like to have a breakfast every morning, good breakfast. So I enjoy that time. And then it's either here at my place or at the office that we go and start working.
Are most of your events pre-planned, or do you wake up and you think about what should I do today, or do I have a meeting with clients or potential?
Yeah, when we have meetings, they are fixed for sure. Um, but then I try to have like two or three things when I don't have appointments or meetings. I have like two or three main things that needs to be done in my agenda. But then I have a lot of free time between those events, and I know that they will get filled up really quickly. Once you start working, you see that you have a lot to do. Yeah.
Mhm. You've mentioned that you like staying active. and you like traveling as well. So how do you balance uh, the demands of a young startup with your lifestyle?
Um, yeah, that's it's not an easy way to balance it. I wouldn't say it's super balanced for me. Um, so yeah, I try to when I'm working, I try to work hard those days. I'm kind of like I wake up and I start working and finish working before I go to sleep. Um, but yeah, that gives uh, the opportunity also to do some remote work. So I like to, like I said, I like to go surfing. I went on a trip for 3 weeks in Nicaragua with my girlfriend. Um, so I managed to not work a lot from there, but do some like 1 or 2 days where you get to work. You know what to do. That's maybe the good part of that is that you know what to do in those 2 days, and it's not just like opening your computer and doing some stuff. So those things are quite precise and also yeah productive days.
Hmm.
Um, and then I have the chance to not be alone in the company. When I'm away, Arnaud can handle the rest. So I think I it's something that you really need to put time and efforts in. But if you're not unreplaceable, even for a lot of things for the moment, there are some things where I'm not replaceable and Arnaud neither. But we try to learn each other how it's done then and how we can handle it.
And when it comes to you two working together as founders, do you guys complement each other in your tasks, or you guys are more independent of the tasks you handle? The some of the tasks there are handled by Arnaud, and some of them are handled by you.
Mhm. There are a lot of tasks that Arnaud does and I don't do. I mean, Arnaud has a finance background, so all the finance stuff I will not doing. I will not be doing that. A lack of know-how for me, but also a lack of liking those tasks. But yeah, everyone I like. We have like shipping of our products. That's something that generally Arnaud does. For example, it's a task that we could both be doing, but one of the two needs to take the lead. But yeah, when he's on holiday, I'll take that over without any problem. So
Hmm.
so yeah, and then for the complementary part, I guess there is a way we like to explain this, but I'm like more I have an idea and I go for it, and if I fail, I fail. I don't really mind. Um, so I did stuff that worked and stuff that didn't work. Well, I know is more like thoughtful. Um, he likes to think a bit more about the processes and be sure that what we do is like the good thing to do, but also the the intelligent thing to do at that moment. So yeah, there we are very different in our approach, but yeah, it helps us like to build good stuff together. I mean, you were already in brainstorms with it with Arnaud. I think you realize how that's working. Yeah.
From my time at Tiptoe, I've definitely seen that you two complement each other very much in the work that you do, and you guys are very independent as well when working alone. So that's definitely a really good thing that I've noticed. And yes, as you've said, from the brainstorming sessions, I've definitely seen Arno give more input towards the fine details, which I think is really important in young startups. And I guess that this focus to fine details branches out to other tasks as well
Yeah.
in the
Yes.
work that you guys do. I'd
Well,
like to touch up on your traveling a bit before we move on to the company. So of course, you love traveling.
Mhm.
How do you plan these around your work? And as you've already mentioned, you try to do as much as you can, but at the end you're on holiday and
Um,
you can't really, do all the work that there is. So how do you plan your travel agendas around the startup and work?
I would say when like I'll take Nicaragua for an example. We just like we looked at some possible dates with my girlfriend because yeah, I'm not alone, so it must match also her possibilities to be on holiday. Um, but actually, once you decided which dates those will be, if it's early enough, you can you can plan everything around that. So that will be the main I, the main activity in those three weeks. Um, and if needed, like I know I worked I think two full days on a 3 week trip. So that's not a lot of working, but yeah, um, the things that needed to be done. I remember like Arnaud wanted to do an action with the website for a big discount, and yeah, I needed to build some stuff on the website, create discount codes, etc. So that's a thing that Arnaud can't do because I'm responsible for the website. Um, so yeah, for those things you take some time, and on 3 weeks it's not an issue to work like 2 days. Um, and before the trip, I know it's coming, so I have a due date. Um, and I kind of write down in the 2 weeks before, like those are all the things that needs to be finished when I leave, or at least ready to be handed over to Arnaud. So there is those two parts: what I need to hand over that needs to be done, and then what needs to be finished. And I try not to take anything else besides that. Uh, I try to temper my own ideas to not create new work, because that's a bit the thing. I like to have new ideas, new things to do, and that's what creates a lot of workload for myself. Um, and I write them down or whatever, and I'll start to do them only when I'm back. So it's a nice thing to have like deadlines which when you know that you're going on holiday and you finish everything, you work hard, and then you can really relax and leave yeah, leave with a good peace of mind.
Awesome. And a follow-up question to the traveling part is that, do you remember the first trip you've had after you started this company, and how did you feel about leaving all of the work?
The first I need to think about it. When was the first real? Because I yeah. Oh yeah, maybe that's a trip I like to do with a good friend of mine. We go with his van and we ride to Spain or France to surf. Uh, but there we kind of he's also an entrepreneur, so we kind of say that we try to work like 3 or 4 afternoon or mornings in the van. So it's quite nice because you have another view, you don't have all the distractions, and yeah, it's between surfing sessions, so it's it are moments that you're doing nothing. So I wouldn't say that it's a full trip without anything to do with Tiptoe. uh, I don't know when was the last time I had a trip I before Nicaragua that I went all without Tiptoe. Maybe probably a ski holiday. I yeah, I was in the mountains in Switzerland, so really difficult to connect with the
Hmm.
internet, or at least it's very expensive. So that also helps to deconnect. Yeah, it's in the mountain. I have a ski trip that my uncle and myself are organizing, where we take people into a cabin and we do walking. we do tour skiing from there. So that's really that. Then you're sure you're disconnected. You're gone all day. You don't have a Wi-Fi connection. So yeah, um, we'll
I
probably
guess you Yeah, I guess you gave a great tip to people who want to disconnect from all the work. Just go to Switzerland on a skiing trip,
yeah
enjoy the skiing and disconnect, detox a bit.
yeah yeah.
Awesome. Well, now we can move on to the company that you guys have built over the past 2 years. So, give us an introduction about Tiptoe in general.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe in the name there is a lot. Yeah, we figured out that if we wanted to do something right, we needed a mission. So we put the mission in the name. So tiptoe is yeah. I always say it's English for walking on the tip of your toes to lower your ecological footprint. But of course, you're speaking English, so I don't need to translate it. So when I'm explaining it to a French or Dutch people, I add that. But yeah, it's really it's simple. If we can lower the footprint of our customers, um, if it's someone that's already vegan or someone that's fully meat eater and a cow milk drinker, if we can reduce that footprint from a lot of different people, we are doing a good thing. Um, and we do that with a plant-based milk made from yellow split peas. Um, we chose the split peas for different reasons. There is a very good balance between the um, the the impact you have on the planet, but also for your customers or the problems you solve on those levels. Uh, for the planet, the peas are from the northern of France. They they're low in water and CO2 usage. Um, they are yeah they are used to rotate crops, so you don't need a lot of pesticides. No, pesticides. I don't know if that's a good word in English. Like fertilizers. Fertilizers is the good word. So that's on the planet level. It's already a good product. And for the customers, it's a high source of protein. So we have the same nutritional values as cow milk. What a lot of plant-based milk don't do. You have soy that has the same nutritional values, but an oat milk, an almond milk, rice milk, cashew milk, they're not very nutritious. And then on for the customers again, you don't have allergens or intolerances. And that's something that's growing 4 times quicker than population growth. So it's kind of a big deal for the future. You have a new taste, so again, you have something new that people can try and maybe ditch the cow milk for that. So and then the last advantage for the customers is the functionality. You know that because we cooked a lot with Tiptoe, but it's like in recipes you can really switch uh, cow milk for Tiptoe one on one. So those are kind of the advantages of Tiptoe and pea milk in general.
Yeah. Coming back to the name, actually, I had some more questions regarding the name. Is
Uh-huh.
that, this is a Belgian company, and the languages that are spoken in Belgium are French and Dutch. So, why did you focus more towards a name that's more, how do you say it, Western or English? Were there any reason behind the naming as well?
Um, like choosing a name for a company is quite difficult, I would say. We went from Flask was our first name. It was just like I was like, we need a name. Just when we are in touch with companies, they have a name to relate, whatever. Uh, it was an ugly name, so to say. Then we went to Tippy as name, TP from the P, and we shortened that to TP, and then it went to TP. But then we posted just on the Facebook groups. What are you thinking of TP? And they were like, no, don't do that. It's cultural appropriation. They were linking it to the houses of Native Americans. So I wasn't even thinking, because for me it was the P and always around that. So since we had some backlash about that, we were like, okay, don't like, there is no reason why keeping TP. And then we had like 2 weeks to come up for a name. So we went. Arnaud was I studied in Japan for a semester. So we went more like Japanese names with a meaning. So we were really focusing on the meaning of the word, and after that also the sound and how people would pronounce it. So the language was not really an issue. A thing we were thinking about, just a name. So um, then I remember I was on a bike holiday with my uncle and my cousin, and I had I think we had still 3 days to find a name, because our designer was like, I need to start right now, do your packaging if you want it on time. So then I was looking up like nice ecological, how do you call that in English, like quotes, yeah, let's say quotes. And there was one quote where they were talking about the footprint. And then I was like, I played with that word for a few hours, and I came to tiptoe. And I was like, yeah, if you reduce your footprint, that's what we want to do, at least. Uh, we we use the word a lot, and I was always like with Arnaud in the beginning, yeah, we need to take a foot, whatever. But Arnaud was like, no, no way, no foot on the packaging. And I guess like that's my mind, and he's like, no, no, we will not be doing that. And so that's how we came actually to Tiptoe. Then there was a French brand that makes furniture that is called Tiptoe, like written properly with OE at the end. I contacted them, they didn't reply, so I was like, yeah, take it simple. We make it an H from the O, from the E. Our designer was also like, yeah, I prefer the H to work for a nice and neat design. So yeah, I guess we didn't think about the language and just went for a meaningful name.
Yeah, regardless of not thinking of the language, I think this story is extremely nice of how you guys came up with the name. And also regarding the age, I guess it gives it more of a, you know, of a feeling when you say it, tiptoe, instead
Yeah,
of writing it as TOE.
yeah.
Um, I guess there was one more controversy about the name, or maybe not a controversy, but at my time at Tiptoe, I came to realize that guys had some problems with TikTok as well. So if you could elaborate it as much as you can, if you don't mind, and if you don't have like a disclosure agreement.
I I'm not aware of a disclosure agreement for now. So yeah, actually, um, we um, we got a mail from TikTok that we couldn't use the name because it's too close um, to their name, um, which sounds strange, but yeah, yeah, it's how they interpret it, and I think they shoot to a lot of people that are lookalikes somehow in the name. But what's funny or a bit fucked up, like I don't know if I explained it to you at that time, but like you have when you have a name for your brand, you need to protect it. So that's what we did. So we protected firstly in Belgium and the Netherlands and Luxembourg. You protect it, and it's protected in a class. So we are class 29, I think, and that's for food, beverages, plant-based milks, and so you can protect it in one or two or three classes that relates to your products. Um, and when you start to deposit your name, you can also think about, yeah, if I'm willing to make a burger in with Tiptoe, a plant-based burger, I can also deposit my name in the class of the burgers. Let's say it's 17 or whatever, um, and I have 5 years to prove that I'm in that sector too. So if after 5 years I still haven't created a burger, uh, I'm not protected anymore in that area. So yeah, companies like us with not a lot of money, we just keep to our own classes and maybe one or two more because it costs money. What TikTok did, they protected their name in every possible class, like in every class. So they are protected for the beverages. Like, I mean, TikTok will never ever make plant-based milk. I can I'm pretty sure that they won't do that. But they protected it and they started, I think, like less than 5 years ago. So now we can say like you didn't make plant-based milk, you're not protected anymore. But they did like demands for every class separately. So if one class falls away, the other are still maintaining. So that's kind of the thing with TikTok. And we are with a law agency that is taking care of it. So we haven't had news for a while. We just had the billing.
Oh wow, I did not know that. I mean, I did know that you could protect the name, but the fact that TikTok protected their name in every type of class and industries is really strange. And do they get to renew that every year or?
I'm not an expert enough to know if they do it that way. It's a possibility that they renew it because TikTok is older than 2 or 3 years. So I guess so. That and yeah, I mean it's a big company, so they have the money to protect themselves. We got a very aggressive letter from them, uh, but yeah, we'll see. For now, we are not really I scared of it. We don't think they are in a position where they can make us change. And I mean, yeah, we'll see what's coming out of it. I was already thinking about stuff like to do if we need to change. I was like, yeah, that's a good way to have new PR and etc.
They want to keep this sort of monopoly around their name, and that's definitely something very messed up. I think because yeah, the name, at least to me, doesn't resemble it. However, when I talked to my mom about it, when I told her the company's name Tiptoe,
Uh-huh.
she when she was recalling it, she was telling me TikTok, you know. So
Yeah,
I do understand that some people might confuse the two, but I
yeah,
guess to a younger generation, there's definitely a difference between TikTok and Tiptoe.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, indeed, it's like people sometimes call us tip top because in Dutch it's like tip top. It's super good, but
yeah.
it's with lame. So, but yeah, that's maybe a joke that people put on us.
Awesome. So I guess you've already touched up on some of the reasons why you launched Tiptoe. You want to reduce the your ecological footprint, and you want to help people do the same by means of buying your product. And I think on top of this, what else can they do to reduce their ecological footprint? I know this doesn't concern you directly, but however, since your goal is, I'm
Uh-huh.
guessing, much greater than Tiptoe, so what are some other things they can do to reduce it?
I mean, there is a lot everyone can do. I mean, so like for us, why we started with food is because it's one of the biggest things you can do on an individual level. Like you can really decide 3 or 4 times a day whenever you eat what you put in your body, um, and yeah, it must be healthy, it must be ecological, and it must taste good. That's those are my three elements when I choose to eat food. Um, so yeah, every time you can make that choice, and that's what we try to push. Even if you don't make that choice, the best choice every day, every time you do a good choice, it has an impact. Like on like you can be sure that if the customer right now is in a phase where flexitarianism is a thing, like a lot of people try to avoid meat, uh, 2 or 3 times a week, and a lot of people are doing that. So you really create a mass movement, and that really impacts more than people think. So the choice about foods, if it's plant-based milk or not, I mean, uh, in a perfect world, I there was not really a need to drink cow milk. So we replace cow milk for people that likes to use cow milk, like in for breakfast, in the coffee, etc. So we create a solution for that. But in an ideal world, yeah, you can live without milk. So that's the thing. And then it's like, yeah, on there are other ways to lower your footprint. I mean, I like to ride my bike, especially for shorter distances. I used to ride my bike before Tiptoh. Always, I didn't have a car. Now for Tiptoh, I need a car to, because I have a lot of weight when I my pack my packages are way are heavy, so I need to have a car to transport them. But I try to avoid it as much as possible. So transportation is part of it, and at the same time, I think, yeah, just don't do things that are really, like, if you really like a thing, you can continue doing it. I mean, um, yeah, I like to go skiing. Now it's tour skiing, so I walk up by myself. But I enjoy also a day at the resort, and I know it's kind of an impactful sport. Like, it's it's big installations. It's also part of the nature that has been replaced by and skiing by a skiing resort. So um, even if you I even that, it's not a big deal for me. People need to enjoy their time off. It's also like a fraction. It's like 1 week in the year, so it's relatively low impact if you look at the big picture. But yeah, just yeah, I don't know where I'm ending this conversation, but uh, it's yeah. There are many things where you can do something, and every step counts. And if it's like, don't take your car for 2 or 3 kilometers, you can walk them, or you can take your bike to do that. That's also a good thing for your health. So maybe not for your security on the road in Brussels, but at least for your health.
This is definitely a tough question because it also comes down to government laws and regulations and the environment. Of course, taking a bike on a rainy day in Belgium isn't a really nice idea to think about. I'd rather take the car, burn
Uh-huh.
some gas. But yeah, we do have to think about the environment to an extent
Yeah.
because collectively that's where the biggest difference comes in. I guess one small, not maybe controversy about one of your statements is, people have all different opinions, but when you say that we weren't meant to drink cow's milk,
Uh-huh.
like, how do you explain this? Because milk has been such a staple in so many cultures over centuries and centuries, and
Uh-huh.
now people are coming and saying that cow milk isn't really, well, it wasn't meant to be drink.
Yeah.
So what is your opinion on that?
Well, there are different things I can say about that. Like, maybe for my own example, I was like introduced to plant-based milk at a young age. My brother was lactose intolerant, um, so so yeah, I was introduced to soy like at 10 or 12 years old, and I really disliked the taste. To be honest. But then I just wrote an article as a young guy, as a young boy, I would say, um, like how cow milk is produced to grow a calf, um, and and to make it very big. Um, at the same time, that's what babies also do. Like, they drink mother milk, uh, and after that they stop drinking cow milk. I mean, we are also babies, so I get the point that there was a time where cow milk was it's a good source of protein, etc. It's nutritious. I wouldn't how would I say? I'm not saying that that's wrong. It's just a strange thing that you still continue to drink that cow milk, and in your own nature, you're stopping to drink the milk of your mother. And it was an article like that a long time ago, and that made me thinking. And I was like, yeah, it's strange to do that. So just that made me go for plant-based milk since I'm young. Um, so, and at that time I wasn't vegetarian or whatever, but just that fact was really hitting me. Like, yeah, it's actually strange. You can have your nutritional values or your nutrients from somewhere else than cow milk. So that was kind of the way why I was saying that cow milk, you don't really need it. Um, and then at the same time, also you see that in the in periods, you know like the got milk commercials with the white mustache. I don't know if you know them, but there was like a big push towards milk consumption after the wars, because there was like a lot of milk that was produced. So they make it very affordable for everyone, and pushed everyone to continue drinking it. So there is also, and I mean, it's in a lot of sectors like that, but it was a big sector, and they pushed it to make it like a basic need for everyone. And people that I and even in Belgium, when you see that we need to pay axes duties, how do you call that in English? Axes, yeah. Um, it's like we need to pay, like for alcohol, you also have that, or for soft drinks. We also need to pay that on Tiptoh, but on cow milk, you don't need to pay that. So there are a lot of advantages created around cow milk to promote it without being a need, and that's why people drink a lot of cow milk nowadays. So that kind of the 2 points I wanted to make, why it's not really a need, but a need was created somewhere in history also. Um,
For sure, there's a lot of things that have been marketed and commercialized. I mean, not just milk, as you mentioned, in so many sectors, like the breakfast industry as well. It was marketed, and all these vegetable oils, which are really unhealthy for us, were marketed in such a way
Look
that
at
made
tobacco.
it. Hmm. Yeah.
Tobacco was an example. There were doctors talking about how healthy it was to smoke a cigarette. I mean, nowadays you wouldn't imagine that it would even be possible. But they're doing it again with the vapes, I guess.
Yeah. Well, gotta keep the business running and the industry striving, I guess. It's
Mhm.
yeah. So what differentiates Tiptoe from the rest? All these other brands that there are in the market. What's the biggest differentiator?
Oh, the biggest differentiator. That's a tough one, because we are in a very competitive market with a lot of competition. I mean, in Belgium we are kind of yeah the new startup, innovative brand. So people really like that about us. Like, we don't have a carton that would um, fit in the mainstream plant-based milk cartons. So we're quite different, I guess, than the rest. And yeah, the difference is made in how we speak to people. I mean, on social media, how we address our customers. I think that's kind of unique. Um, and of course, that's something that's really difficult to put in one word. But it's like, yeah, how we handle stuff, how we speak to our customers, how we have a very small barrier between us and the customers is kind of what a lot of people that like our product make them buy again. So they feel that it's like mission driven, etc. um, yeah, for the Belgian market, I mean, we're quite unique since we are the only pea-based milk. Like yeah, you have some of our competitors from other European countries that are a little bit in some shops, but not really like in Deleuze or something. So uh, so we are quite unique in that, like the elegant story, but the combination with a high nutritional profile and a functionality is kind of a unique mix regarding that.
You definitely have this level of transparency that I don't see anywhere else. You guys are very transparent with your product offering, the details that you give on your website, the milestones, and the entire journey. Even on the bottle itself, you guys have the milestones that you want to achieve in the future and that you've achieved in the past. So, this level of transparency, I guess, is attainable since you're a small startup. But as you grow your business, do you imagine or believe that you'll be able to keep up with this level of transparency?
That's the purpose. Yeah, that's yeah, that's what we want to achieve. I mean, it's a difficult one to be super transparent because you have a lot of other actors that can read that. Like you get yeah, I'm not really afraid that competitors are looking into what we say and learn about it. I mean that's not an issue at all, but it's more like when you have a company, uh, you have a lot of people in the yeah in the, I will say the supply chain, like and if you're doing like very transparent stuff, they need to be okay with that. And for the moment, we are that small that no one is really noticing it. Or if we have like, there is one thing I put away from our website. Yeah, I had like a diagram of the margins everyone is taking in the supply chain. So yeah, I deleted that because otherwise, like the retailers wouldn't be happy. Like if customers see what retailers ask for small producers like us, they would like be really scared to buy again there. That's so I deleted that, but it was like it's not that we don't want to be transparent, but that could have some backlash from other people in the supply chain. But once we have, I mean, that's a thing that we deleted because we are not in a situation where we have the upper hand. But once you have the upper hand, you can do that, not to lower that margin, but to make people conscious about. Yeah, you go to the supermarket, it's very convenient. Like you have everything there, and it costs a lot of money to the retailers to be able to do that. So I get the point, um, but yeah, there is a lot of the price of your products that's because the chain is so long. So we try to do it with the web shop, and with the web shop we try to encourage, I don't know, the people that buy on the web shop actually have a lot of discounts when they for the repeated buyers, so we can make the product more affordable for them. uh, that's maybe our third thing we want to do. It's to create an accessible product that's with the taste, with the functionality, but also with the pricing. But the pricing is a difficult one as a small enterprise to be competitive on. So I hope over time we can achieve that.
Yeah, for sure. Because as a small company, yeah, you have to take so much into consideration, and you cannot be making losses. You have to stay afloat. But definitely, with time, I guess the more you sell, the more power you have, the lower the price will go. Definitely.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the price of the product, I still do believe it's a premium price.
Hmm.
Not everybody would like to buy it because there's cheaper alternatives.
Of
So,
course.
branching out from that, who does Tiptoe appeal to the most? There's definitely a group that you focus towards as well.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we definitely have more women buying Tiptoe than men. We can see that on our web shop. Like we resonate more with women on that matter. And then we have a kind of a combination. We have like some sport people that like to have like a healthy, high protein addition to their proteins, to their shakes, for example. We have also like the caring parents, like people that have a decent, yeah, I mean, we are like more expensive, so that have a good budget and that wants the best for their children, and that wants to participate to a better planet, because it's also the future for their kids. So those are important clients for us. And then we have also like people maybe between your age and my age, first salaries, you finally have some budget to buy the fun stuff in the stores, and not always the private labels, and yeah, spend your money. So with things you like. So yeah, those are kind of the three groups we have.
Hmm. So I guess Tiptoe isn't really for everyone.
Um, everyone, yeah. At the end, we want to be able to be used by everyone
Hmm.
over time. It's a product that can lean towards everyone, and that's one of our challenges in the beginning, and maybe now, still now, is that we were shooting very broad. Like we wanted to target everyone that could possibly drink plant-based milk. Um, where as a newcomer, we should really focus on all the people that are already drinking plant-based milk. Like I didn't mention vegan people because they are definitely customers for us, but it's a small group. So, and it's like, okay, if they know your product, they will look at it and they will decide for themselves if they like it or not. They are very curious people, so they will figure out if the product is right for them. But we need to push more like the people that already drink plant-based milk. Like actually, the clients of our competitors are kind of our potential clients. So we need
Hmm.
to be fishing in that sea.
I guess this is another tough question for you, and I hope you don't mind me asking tougher questions or more controversial
I can
questions
skip that. No,
because
I'm kidding.
um, I guess when it comes to this, when you advertise this product as a vegan or plant based milk, sorry,
Mhm.
uh, you definitely know that some people will be turned off by the idea of a plant based milk. So
Mhm.
my question is, wouldn't you advertise it as a sports drinks for say, because it's high in protein, and in that way you'll be able to capture um, in what I think is the majority of the people. I could be
Mhm.
mistaken, but
Yeah, yeah, good question. I think like to come back to your first part, like if you're advertising it as a plant-based milk, it's also very clear what it is. So for the people that dislike it, whatever. I mean, you can please everyone. So for the people that already are plant-based milk drinkers, like the barrier or this, it's a very small step. Um, so I mean, we will for sure continue to promote it that way too, because it's a market, it's an existing market. We don't need to reinvent a new market regarding that. At the other side, we have like our chocolate drink is a drink that a lot of endurance sporters like to drink because we have a good balance between the proteins and the sugars. Um, and that indeed is something we kind of tried it a little bit without big success to promote it as a recovery drink. Um, but then yeah, we have a 1 liter bottle, so it's not like the recovery drink. You have like ready to drink products of 20 centiliters or 30 centiliters to drink just behind sports. So we still need to figure out how we can target those people, because what you say is right. uh, Sport people will like this. So since you stopped, we really are testing a lot of different types of advertisements and ways to get leads, to get engagement with customers, uh, and definitely the sport part will be part of it in a certain future.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely, because the product itself, I think it could really appeal, and it does appeal to a lot of people who do sports just because of its high protein content. But I just feel, and I've also had some feedback from some friends in this sport circle, that yeah, if it wasn't advertised um, as a plant-based milk, I would definitely have bought it. But as you said, you can't please everybody, and
Mhm.
the fact that you're sticking to one side is good as well. It's
Yeah,
definitely good.
and over time we will be able, like, that was one of of the challenges I was describing. Like, we could shoot at a lot of people. Like, we really have a product that could fit over time, and that's the thing we need to keep in mind. We have time, and over time we can go broader and broader and broader. But now it's like really focusing on the people that are actually ready to already drinking plant-based milk. They're already they it's a small change for them, um, because you can't. I don't know. Maybe it's something I need to brainstorm over it once. But you can't really promote a plant. If you promote a sport drink, you also going to say that it's plant-based. You can't really
Yeah.
say it's not plant. It would be maybe a bit of lying, but I mean it's basic information that people need. Like, if they have it and they're like, oh, it's made from peas. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Could also have some backlash. So we need to think that
Hmm.
through, how to approach them.
Yeah, I guess my side or my question was more towards the fact that instead of advertising it as an
Man,
alternative to milk, why not just a regular drink, you know?
yeah,
But then again, yes, you'll have to mention that it's plant based. But I guess, yeah, like just this milk part is a lot of people dislike it. I think it really hits them where they say that no, milk is milk and there's no alternative. But
above.
I don't think that's a good way of thinking about it, because of course milk itself has so many allergens, and not allergens, but a lot of people are lactose intolerant. So if they still want to drink milk, your product is definitely a good alternative.
It's both. It's protein allergies, cow milk, protein allergies, and also lactose. That's maybe one of the other things I forgot to mention in one of your past questions. If you see at population, there is like a big part of the world that's lactose intolerant. So that was one of the reasons. So there is maybe not a need for cow milk. To come back to that question, like in Italy, 70% of people are lactose intolerant. So that's a lot for a country that uses a lot of cow milk.
Hmm. In the food that they eat.
Not much.
That's a stat I did not know about. But from my own experience, I think I was lactose intolerant as well. But I guess my mom just gave me more milk to drink, and I became non-lactose intolerant, I guess. Like,
I
but
don't know if it's possible, but yeah, I mean it's the enzymes in your guts that digest the lactose. So I guess maybe you build up more enzymes or whatever. I don't know if
mhm,
it's possible.
definitely, it's
It's
I'm
not for me.
going off on bro science here, but yeah, it's not. There's definitely a science to that. So I think we didn't still touch up on this. So how many flavors do you have,
Yeah.
and how did you actually come up with the formula and the ingredients, and why did you actually choose these three flavors?
Should I take them? I have them
Yes, of
there.
course.
Okay.
We're
Right.
waiting on a small demo of the products for those of you listening on Spotify.
So yeah, there are labels on it because it were some samples for the lab. But yeah, we have 3 SKUs. I'll put them here. Puff. Oh, so we have 3 SKUs. We have the original. That's right here. That's the slightly sweetened one. It's maybe the one that's closest to cow milk in the drinking part. Like you can have a fresh glass of this one, and it will be refreshing. It will be filling you up and give you a nice feeling. It's also used for everything that's in coffee, in your sweet pastries, etc. Um, then we have the unsweetened one. That's like we call it the Swiss knife for in the kitchen because it's very versatile. I was talking before and one-on-one for cow milk. This one is the one where you can make a white sauce, bechamel, a curry, or whatever you want to make, and it will not affect like the taste. It's quite neutral, especially when you cook it. You have like a very neutral product that will give you the richness you also have in cow milk. And then you have like our holy grail, the chocolate version. Like it's just super nice to drink. It's a beverage that I like to drink after I have a good workout or a soccer football training. So yeah, those are the 3 tests, and they're all Nutri-Score A. You can see that in the bottom. So they are, let's say they're healthy. I mean, we really put time in having a good nutritional profile. We have some dietitians that really complimented us for the choices we made. That's my background as a physiotherapist. That found that very important, and I had some know-how about it. So yeah, here you have the 3 products.
And how do you actually r- do these Nutri-Score? Because yeah, now it's like available on everything, and of course everybody knows that A is good, E is bad. But in the lab, how do they come up with these scores, or
So
what are the factors based on the score?
it was one of like when you go to the lab, like I tried in the beginning to do it in my kitchen. Was a bit difficult. So we went to a laboratory that helped us developing, and they were like, okay, you tell me what you want to make, like it's pea milk, and then I'm sorry, but there is an ambulance
It's okay.
going. Um, so yeah, I'll wait. Maybe
Maybe
I don't
we'll
know.
wait. Yeah,
Okay,
it's leaving finally.
yeah, it's leaving. It's not stopping by the door, so that's nice. Yeah, I'll repeat my answer. So we had like a laboratory that was helping us out, and they were like, "Okay, you want to make pea milk? Okay, that's right. Um, but then you need to give them like more precise guidelines that in what you want to achieve." So for me, there was like the allergen part was what we saw in our market research that was very important. That's why we chose the pea, but a lot of other ingredients would not be allowed. Like we wouldn't add anything that has to do with soy. Like you could use soy lecithin, for example, and it's a very good ingredient to make a quality product, but it was an allergen, so like those things were like deleted with that first thing we wanted to create. Then on a nutritional value, we were like, okay, I want the same as half skimmed milk. um, so you go around 3 gram proteins per 100 milliliters. uh, you go for 2 grams fat, something like that. So there you have a lot of points you need to achieve. So they create a product that will match those features. And then yeah, Nutri-Score A was also very important, A or B, but with focus on A. So for that, we realized that especially in the chocolate version, we needed to add some fibers because fibers helps to absorb sugar more slowly, to don't have like a big spike in your insulin levels. So for your blood sugar. Um, so those were like aspects that they added to create that Nutri-Score A, because it's like a scale where you put everything in of macronutrients, and you get a score. So we could really play with that to define our product.
Hmm. And yeah, out of the three flavors, I definitely love the chocolate flavor. As you've mentioned, it's just like a nice beverage you'd like to have after doing some sports. But it's also the one with the highest sugar, but it's
Mhm.
still Nutri-Score A, which is
Yeah,
really impressive. I did see myself drinking more of the unsweetened just because it has zero sugar,
yeah,
but has protein at the same time.
yeah.
Talking about the ingredients and formulas, I guess this is more of the protein addict or protein fanatic talking. Like, what would it take for this drink to have, like, for example, 20 grams of protein per serving? Or is that even possible in a drink?
20 grams of protein. I mean, if you like to eat it with a spoon, you could. But 20 grams of protein, like now we have 3 grams of protein per 100 milliliters. So if you
Mm-hmm.
want 30 grams, you need to drink like 1.5 bottle. Hey, one bottle it's 30 grams. So you would have to drink one bottle, but we had a certain limit in what we wanted, and that's just we wanted to recreate cow milk on a nutritional level. And some people, oh, there is only 3.8 grams of pea protein in it. Uh, isn't that low? And I'm like, yeah, no, it's what you need to recreate cow milk. You could make a high protein with 6 grams of protein per 100 milliliter. It will still be liquid and easy to drink, etc. But then
Mm-hmm.
you're already going in the direction of a protein shake. Like I know Alpro has a high protein soy milk. I
Mm-hmm.
think they have 50 grams in a bottle, so it's like 5 grams per 100 milliliters. Um, yeah, if you're if you're really looking for the proteins, you can drink those things too. And maybe it's something we will make in the future. It's not in our pipeline for the moment, but yeah, there is a real hype around protein for the moment. So
Yeah,
uh,
definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. And how hard is it to create a flavor? Because you've already have three.
Mhm.
If you want to create a new one, how hard is it, or how is the process of creating a flavor?
So now we are actually developing a fourth flavor. It's a barista version. So it's more challenging to create a barista flavor because it needs to match with another product, and the product is very um, it's a variable that's changing. Like you can have very sour coffee, you can have very bitter coffee. You have a lot of different coffees, and the effect of taste on the cup of coffee you're extracting is huge. Like on the stability of the milk, on the effects on taste that the combinations are making. So we have a tough. It's tough to make the barista, but last Friday we went testing again, and we have very good results. So very happy for that. But for example, like if you want to create a strawberry taste, it wouldn't be that complicated. We have kind of a base. The base for the chocolate and the originals are kind of the same. Actually, for the unsweetened, it's also kind of the same. Few ingredients are different, but I think there we could create very easily a new taste. But yeah, we have already a lot in our. How would you say that? Um, we have a lot to do already with 3 SKUs, with a fourth SKU coming. That's also for another segment of the market. It's like more B2B, Horeca. coffee bars, etc. So yeah, a fifth taste is not directly in the plants.
Hmm.
More like other types of products. We are looking at yogurt, ice cream, um, butter. Those kind of products will be maybe first.
Definitely, I'm super excited to see the barista version that you have coming out in the pipeline. And I guess you've already kind of answered the next question I was about to ask. That will you have a vanilla flavor, for example? But as you just said, strawberry flavor, like adding flavor isn't the tough part, but actually having it in your product line is the toughest. I'd
Yeah,
say. Hmm.
it's like yeah, making sure that it's going to work and push everything. And now we are still like, as a startup, you're constantly looking at the cheapest way to promote your product. So and there are like so many possibilities. You could make a podcast, you can push on social media, you can have like a very good lead generation yeah, funnel. You can have like a very personal approach, and there is so much you can do. And we are now figuring out what part is the most effective for our type of clients. And then
Hmm.
it's like how we can differentiate like the chocolate from the two others is the step behind that. And once we master that, we can think about like we are already thinking about the fourth flavor, but like about the fifth or sixth flavor. Yeah.
And I guess there's a lot of cost related to that, to adding a new flavor, of course.
Mhm.
And I guess I'm asking all these questions about new things and that because someone who studied marketing and who's a creative to a certain extent, I guess I want to see more. Newer stuff, and I'm always
Yeah.
thinking about how this brand can have this and that.
Hmm.
And I saw a meme recently. It's like the marketing team of a company has so many ideas, but the finance team is like looking at them.
Yeah.
Oh shit, here we go again. Like they have more ideas, more expenses for them. But yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
it's nice, and I hope you guys develop all these things because there's definitely a market for that.
What?
But I guess once you've established yourself further, I think that'll be possible
Yeah.
for you to tackle for sure.
I mean, yeah. If when even if you look at big brands, like AB InBev, like for the AB InBev from the beers in Belgium,
Hmm.
we are working together closely with an ex worker of InBev, and he's telling me the product launches they did, and it's also maybe 1 or 2 a year. So even for the big companies launching new products, it's like yeah, it's a real commitment to the product. It's like going for it, creating a new market, especially for the products I had in mind that the AB InBev worker told us. It's like yeah, they're all also innovative in a certain way, and innovative products take their time to grow. And yeah, the retailers are like, yeah, you can try 1 year, maybe two, but after that, either you invest tons of money to keep it in the shelves, or you kill it. And you see that big companies still do that, create 1 or 2 products, and over time they will get products that work. For us, if we launch a product, we need to be sure that it works, because yeah, it's our main source of investment and also revenue afterwards. So every failed product is one that hits you really hard. So to be cautious with that.
Yeah, and I guess killing off a product if it doesn't work isn't it is really common among big brands, which is something I didn't know because I think a couple of years back Coca-Cola released this energy drink. I don't know if you even remember it. They heavily advertised it here in Belgium as well, and I guess all over Europe. But
Yeah.
now they killed it off, and it
Was it
was
a
a
dark, darkish colored?
yeah, it was red and black colored.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the name. It wasn't Coca-Cola Energy. It was something else. But
Yeah, I remember. I never tried it.
yeah, it was definitely something that I liked personally. It was in my opinion, better than Red Bull because it didn't have taurine.
Well, that
But yeah, they killed it off and now don't have it anymore. Um, what are some of the milestones that the company has reached and has completed? And if you could elaborate on the milestones that you have coming in the future.
so yeah, what we have completed, like it's like launching a product. I like having three products that are good tasting, especially when you're creating you the first time you taste your product, you're like, oh damn, will this be it? But you continue working till you have a good product. You try it, you make a beta version, an alpha version, and you make people try it and get feedback. And so the first milestone was like, we have three products. The production is going nicely, not too much problems. So that was kind of our first big milestone. Then it was like, yeah, now we have 36,000 liters. Where are we going to sell it? So for us, it was we had the chance to have an opportunity to enter a big retailer named Deleuze. For people that are listening in Belgium, yeah, it's one of the three biggest retailers in Belgium, and they're really like pushing the plant-based markets. So yeah, it's nice to be with them. So that was one of the milestones we achieved. Um, we had some financing. Hey, so we got some loans. We got some first, not really round of equity, but a first kickstart with convertible loans, etc. So we managed to have people trusting us with their money. So that was also a big milestone we achieved. And now the one of the milestones that's coming is the launching the barista. Um, then it's like being able to, like, we see the Les as a case to try to yeah, how would I say, to impress other retailers to get into their shelves. So right now we are working on that the Deleuze case to make that a success and to enter other retailers. So I mean, this year we want at least two new retailers. So that would be milestones for this year. Probably still staying in Belgium, and then on the long run, it's like growing as on an international scale, staying in Europe. But I mean, in 5 years, we want to be in 15 countries in Europe in at least one retailer. That's kind of the big objective in 5 years, and then growing our product range. Like if you are in a supermarket in 5 shelves, people will recognize you and try to buy you in different shelves. And yeah, that's one of our strategies to grow our brand. Some people say it's a good idea. Some people say like focus on the milk. But yeah, it's our goal in 5 years to yeah to have like the yogurts, the butters, etc.
Awesome. And what would you say is the toughest milestone to reach out of all the goals and milestones that you've mentioned?
I think it's the Deleuze case is the most difficult. It's our like, if I would have started again, I don't know if I would have take the step directly to a big supermarket chain. If I had the possibility to have lower production quantities, we would probably have taken a step or two between it. Um, the reason why is that we launched our product. We had some validation because it already existed. Like the piece, like when I don't know if you've read the lean startup, but you're like, you need to validate your products along the way and create the minimum viable product, etc. But we had like in Sweden, in Germany, in the UK, you had already pea milk, and it really took off quite nicely. So we had kind of that was kind of our validation at first. So we knew we had a product that would work. But since we didn't need to do it, all that validation part. Um, we were like less aware of who our customers would be, uh, and we made some personas, but really based on some uh, forms and questionnaires we made online. We had a lot of response, so we had kind of a big idea of who would be our customers. But then when you go to the Leze, there is like, we call it sometimes the black box. You don't know who is buying your product over there, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
tough one because you don't know uh, how to speak to them, how to uh, how to sell them the product, and you have like, you're just in a shelf. You need to be visible, and when you go to a Belgian retailer, you have like 3 rows of Alpro, and then you have like 1 row with the Oatly's, Abotkini, Provamel, and Tiptoe. So you're really a small part in that segment. So if we could have learned more beforehand, could have been nice. So that's still our main challenge: how to make customers of the last try Tiptoe. And once we figure that out, I think that will be the click to have like to really begin to scale and to be confident, like to spend a lot of money on things we know will work. Like for the moment, we have money and we are testing a lot of things out, um, and then when we have that good combination, like let's all the whole funnel written out before us, then we can say, okay, it's important to do that expensive thing and that less expensive thing, because together they will help to push your product towards the customers of that specific retailer. And once we have that, we can go with confidence to other retailers and push our product there in the same manner or somehow, till you have a big distribution and can beginning to add on a national level more broadly.
So, if you were to advise someone that just started out and is already selling online, you would you recommend them to connect with a big distribution chain, or would you tell them to grow a bit more before doing that?
I I mean, it depends on a lot of factors. I would definitely see how, if it's even possible for us it wasn't possible to go to lowball it. Let's say to be smaller in the beginning. Um, so yeah, a lot of factors would come into play. And I had a lot of people asking me like, "How did you manage to go in the labs? Is it interesting for us to do that?" And I try to share my experience. I'm like you said before, we are quite transparent about that. So even if every company faces problems, and that's how you solve them, that will help you. So try to give them my feedback on how I would do it, how I managed to do some mistakes, and how they can avoid it. So yeah, um, really depending on how your company is, what your budget is, how much you need to produce, and how you can enter in different smaller shops maybe first to see how it works.
Hmm. Yeah, and I guess when uh, just to give out the detail, because I don't think we touched upon it. Your product is available in Deleuze as of right
Mhm.
now, all over Belgium, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And you are also selling on your own website.
Mhm.
And also, do you work with any smaller distributors in Belgium or in the Brussels region?
No, not really. We have some B2B clients and we deliver them ourselves, or we send them packages with the post. But like, we are not pushing the B2B too much because it takes a lot of time to serve them all. So right now, with the barista coming, we really want to work together with some distributors,
Hmm.
because they have the clients we are looking for. We still need to do the work, like convincing those clients, but once that's done, it's like rolling out with a distributor that can actually. It's also what Deleuze does. Deleuze has a lot of shops, like 600 in Belgium, only 130 shops from their own. and the other ones are all independent stores. So you could deliver directly to them, but
Mm-hmm.
Les is doing all the distribution, all the logistics, and that's a pain we don't have for the moment, like the distribution part. But definitely needing a few good distribution partners for specific areas and sectors. Yeah.
And I guess since you've gone through the experience of connecting and working with Deleuze, what would be one piece of advice you'd give to a new startup or somebody with a brand that wants to work with a big supply chain or a big distributor like Deleuze?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there could be a lot. I need to think out.
Or
Uh,
are there any requirements that you need to achieve before you can apply?
yeah, make sure you. Yeah, like it's expensive to go in a retailer. Um, Marketing costs are quite expensive, um, and you will be probably disappointed in how good they work because you're a small product. Nobody knows you. So we know with the less it will be on the long run, and we need to continue creating new customers, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of money. But once, if you have a quality product and they are into it, you can, yeah, you know, you have a sustainable business over time. Um, so make sure you know how to do that, like creating those new trial lists with ease. And there are, for every brand, there are possibilities. Like for us, we only have 1 liter bottles, but if we could have like samples, like if you have like crackers or something, you could like make small packages with 2 or 3 crackers and give them for free. Then you can have very broad amount of people. So find on your product the hacks that could work on scale at that retailer. And if you have that in mind and the plan you and how you want to do it, they will also believe that you're able to do it, and they will give you that chance. So have a good plan and talk with a lot of experienced people in the retail to see if that plan could work, because it's a big gamble if you go straight away to the retail. So be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of the tip I would give to them. If you want to go, you know, it's all in, and you will have 100% focus on that one retailer. Yeah.
Yeah. Recently, you've had a funding round,
Hmm.
as I understood. And first off, congratulations on securing the funds. It's really another milestone that you guys
Hmm.
achieved. What are some tips over here for someone who has a startup and is looking to secure some funds for their startup?
Yeah. So that's more Arnaud's yeah, tactics and strategy. It's like yeah, I think there is a combination of managing your cash flow, being sure that you will not run out of money, and then see, like, financing is always a mix of a lot of things. And we managed to have like our fools and friends to give us a loan. In combination with that loan, we had a grant. So that was our first little funding, let's say. And then we put our own money. Like the 6 years I've worked as a physiotherapist, everything went into Tiptoh. Um, then we had like a round of investment with like also a loan from the Flanders government, in combination with a loan of a potential investor over time. So it's we are still 100% in the company, both of us. I 50-50, let's say. Um, so that's how we managed to secure some money to grow. And then the third time we got some money, it's 2 weeks ago. We did a win-win campaign, like a crowd lending. We managed to have 180K from 80 different investors, and it's in the form of a loan. So we still have all our equity, and it was like we managed that it was necessary to have like that loan before we go to an investment round in October or September or something, where we really will give some part of equity to someone else. Um, yeah, I think if you when you're doing the podcast with Arnaud, it will be more elaborate about that. He has more of a vision about that. He's
Hmm.
more aware of how he's planning to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting episode with Arnaud, since he has
Yeah,
more of the finer details and the finance side of it. So yeah, looking forward to that. Now, what are some of the tough aspects of this business? The fact that you're in a market that is becoming saturated and that has big brands. What did you see to be the toughest aspects of this business?
yeah. But when we do like a SWOT analysis, we have like our threats is like, a big player seeing that you're doing good, they can either crush you on the marketing budget or they can buy you. That's kind of the of the big threats, I think we are in in a market that's is still growing and has a lot of potential. So we are at, I think, at the good place at the good moment, even if it's like a year or two behind or before the big jump. But yeah, it's a growing market, so um, it's there are a lot of opportunities. You need to find them and to capitalize them. And yeah, worst case, yeah, if a big company is like, I will shut you down. Um, because it's less expensive for me to 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 take your market share by marketing or by buying you. They will make a choice, I guess. Uh, yeah. So yeah, those are kind of the threats we have in a highly competitive market. Yeah. It's sad to say, but there is, yeah, there is a big possibility of, no, not a big possibility, but like for all startups, that finally there is a big chance that a big corporate will buy you over, and they will win the battle, let's say, yeah, because they will buy you or kill you. um, but then again, the impact you created is still there. I mean, if pea milk is the new thing, and you make people hooked on pea milk, and you know that in 30 years, pea milk is the biggest plant-based milk, I would be like, nice, I was part of it, and I created also that impact. So for me, that's still the most important. Um, and and if you're still there and you become a big one, yeah, you can be proud of yourself, I think.
Yeah, and I guess then you would, if you did get an offer to be bought, would you accept it at this stage in the journey?
At this stage, I think it's still too early to have that interest of a company. But at this stage, I don't want to to let someone else do my thing. I still enjoy it a lot. I like to put the time in Tiptoe. So yeah, no, for the moment it will still be our battle and figuring it out. Over time, there is a big possibility that either way you get like a lot of investors, and your part in the company is so low that, yeah, you're like, okay, is it still worth it? I don't know how that will go. We see that a lot of startups nowadays, they get a lot of funding very quickly, because of the, like, after COVID. There, it's strange, like, you see that in tech a lot. Like, all the tech companies were like, yeah, we're growing very quickly, and this will be in the 5 next years, so we hire a lot of people. And now you see that everyone is firing a lot of their employees, because they're all like, oh yeah, the growth is slower than we thought. So post COVID and COVID, plans are kind of broken down a lot for the moment. So we have a very steady growth. We are doing it step by step. to create a really solid business. That's kind of the way we are going right now, and not try to be the next big thing, but going for the long run. So yeah, that's kind of our approach for that.
Hmm. You know, at my time, time with Tiptoe during my internship, I did see that there was this slight problem with an ingredient supply, which is more of a logistical problem. You know, it was scheduled to come a bit late. But how often does this occur, logistical problems with startups like this? And how do you handle it?
Goh, it happens. I mean, for us, the only logistical part we need to do is like sourcing our ingredients and make sure they are at the right time, at the right place for the production. So it's not that big, but since we are only the two of us, we are kind of late on everything. And sometimes we're like, damn, we need that ingredient. I don't remember which ingredient because we had that for a few ingredients already. um, and then it's like, when we are in that situation, I'm really in warrior modus. I will call everyone. Uh, and Arnaud needed to do that when I was in Nicaragua, for example. We had a vitamin problem. Um, and he was like, you're like, okay, it's my product, it needs to be done for that moment. You do everything in your possibility, and over time, like, it's also you're so late sometimes with ordering ingredients because it hits your cash flow a lot, so you're trying to delay that to the latest minute, let's say. Like, I'm like, I'm counting in days for that. I'm like, okay, let's wait as long as possible, and sometimes it hits you back. But yeah,
Hmm.
now we have a production plan for the end of April. Hey, we need to plan it. And yeah, this week I'm going to do all my ordering. So normally it will be on time. But you never know with suppliers. They give you lead times, but yeah, they also have some drawback problems sometimes. So yeah.
I think from my personal experience, I think having the internship at Tiptoe was extremely was a great experience, and I think a lot of students, when they look for internships, they would love to get that same experience. I really love the work culture that you guys had. So what are some tips, or what are some of the peoples you're currently looking for to get as interns, or
Uh-huh.
yeah.
We had a bit of bad luck now. Actually, it's strange when people ask me, "Oh, how do you get interns?" I'm like, I don't know. We post something and we have 80 candidates. Well, let's say that 80% is not even is just sending their resume without anything more than we make a selection, and we really read everything. Like we did with you, we have a call. I don't know if we saw each other live or in a call, but um,
It was in a call, yes.
in a call. Like for Julia, it was live. So we tried to have a conversation, see if the people fits our ideas. And then, like, I don't know if you remember, a lot of the time we need people, interns for more like social media, creating content. That was why you were here, really
Hmm.
for the content. So we like to let people send us a piece of content they make. I remember you made it with cow milk because it
Yes.
was in your fridge. I was like,
That's the only option I had, yeah.
I looked at your Instagram account and I was like, yeah, the guy can handle stuff. So we are pleased to have you in the team, for that matter. So we try to talk with them, have a connection. If we have a connection and we see some capabilities that we can use at Tiptoe, that we need at Tiptoe, it's an easy go, I think. And now we had some bad luck. We had a lot of not so good people, not so interesting profiles, and then the profile that were interested, that was were a good match had another opportunity, uh, because we don't have the ability to pay people for now. It's also the law in Belgium, but I guess some companies can offer things we don't offer, but
Hmm.
we offer a kind of a unique experience. And to answer the rest of the question, now we were really looking at specialists in e-commerce like Google Analytics, Shopify. We migrated to Shopify. Maybe you didn't know that yet, but yeah, we migrated to that platform, and really focusing on that e-commerce part because I have a lot of ideas, but I can't always do them time wise. Then it was like really a mark, someone that could help us, like what you and Julia did, like social media and content creation. And then a third part was like we tried to have someone more in sales, but that's very difficult to find an intern on that part. Like, um, so yeah, I think that is kind of an answer to your question.
Hmm. When do you look forward to having or hiring employees? Is that something you're looking into in the future, or?
I'm really eager to have employees. I think, and maybe you saw that in Tiptoe. I was like more the guy that was responsible for the interns. Like I love to learn to work with other people, because I know that my personality is to try to do everything on my own, but I see that I'm not good at everything. I like to know from everything a bit, and to talk with experts. So I really thrive on that. So I'm really eager to become to start having employees. I think for the moment we can't pay them yet, but we are looking maybe at freelancers or something like that for the sales. We need to push our sales a lot, so that will be probably one of our first employees.
Awesome. I mean, we've come to the end almost of the interview. One thing I like to do on the show is ask questions, play two games actually, which is called rapid fire questions.
Okay.
And the next game is called this or that. We'll start off with the rapid fire questions. You'll
Okay.
basically have to give me one word answer or a quick
And
answer. Doesn't really have to be one word, but yeah.
you know, I like to talk too much about answers. I'll try to make that happen.
Okay, first let's start. One word to describe yourself.
Um, Energetic,
Favorite tiptoe flavor.
unsweetened.
Your dream travel destination.
Um, Morocco,
Favorite mode of transportation.
the bike.
One food item you can't live without.
Hummus.
Awesome. Unfortunately, I couldn't prepare more, but as I mentioned in a previous episode, I need to make more of these. I try
Mhm.
to make it as specific to the guest, but sometimes brainstorming these questions get a bit overwhelming. But yeah, definitely some great answers. You said Morocco.
Uh-huh.
Where in Morocco or the entire country?
Yeah, I've already been to Morocco. It's not too
Hmm.
far from Belgium too. Um, but I don't know. I like the vibe over there. There is like a lot of there is like the Tupkal. Last weekend I was talking about friends that I wanted to that was one of my bucket list to do the Tupkal. It's not a very difficult mountain, I think, but it's a first step towards like bigger things. And I'm like I like those adventurous endurance stuff. And then there is a really good way to surf, like from Essaouira down the road. You have like a lot of good surf spots. So yeah, I know I'm going there in November probably for a week or two. So I'm really excited to go there again. But last time I was like road tripping, doing a lot of mountain stuff and desert stuff, and now I want to focus on being able to surf a lot there. So
Awesome. I mean, yeah, it's a great destination. Amazing country. I'm also planning to go there in May, so it's
oh,
gonna
nice.
be a really awesome
Any
trip.
tips you can always ask me. I have a good itinerary to do with the car. It's quite cheap also to travel, so yeah,
Mm.
it was nice.
Well, I mean, my one of my best friends is gonna be there. He's a local
Okay,
from Tangier, but definitely I'll hit you up for more
yeah,
tips. Yeah, and one food item you can't live without is hummus. I've seen that you've always had hummus in your fridge whenever I came over to do the shoot the content.
yeah.
Now let's move on to this or that. First question: tea or coffee?
Coffee
Remote or on-site work?
on site.
Summer or winter?
Mm, both.
Road trip or flights?
Road trip.
Skiing or um, s- uh, this question I actually had it on my mind, but skiing or surfing?
I would say then winter and surfing. So then I have both of them in there.
All right, answering two questions with one. Awesome. I mean, yeah, sorry that I couldn't make some more. This is definitely fun. And for road trip or flights, you said road trip.
Yeah,
Definitely. I
I
mean,
really enjoy road trips. Like you you can like when you have a flight, you need to buy to have a car over there, rent a car, etc. If you can do it like in May, I'm going on a road trip with a friend, and I know that's like it's just fantastic. You go wherever you want. And in the beginning, a road trip can be very, how can I say? It's like, make choices and, what would be the best choice? But over time, you learn that you just go, and if it's bad, it's bad. And you don't, like, in the beginning, it's like, should we stop there or there or there? Just go and you stop. And if it's nice, it's nice. And otherwise, next day, you're leaving. I mean,
mhm.
super nice. And then over time, you find good places where you can stay and where you go back and you create you see the same people. So yeah,
Mhm. And why did you choose summer and ski? I mean, winter and skiing. Like, wouldn't
like
you?
my two passions are the mountains, like skiing,
Mhm.
like tour skiing, being in the nature, and surfing. I mean, I could not live a year without doing both of them. So that's why I choose winter, because I can ski and I like cold weather, and surfing because uh, you can do that in the summer, but also in the winter. Like in November, I going to Morocco. It's warmer than here, but still it's kind of cold. But so yeah, that combination is why I said winter and surfing. So I can ski and I can surf.
Awesome. Well, Louis, it was really a pleasure to have you on this podcast. I mean, we didn't touch up on a lot of things. I hope we
Yeah,
can do this again. We didn't touch up on the marketing side, how you do things. Uh, but yeah, I mean, as it grows and as the company gets bigger, I hope we can do this again. I wish you like all the best with your future projects, and I really can't wait to see the stuff you're gonna do with Tiptoe. When
thank
I
you.
first came in touch with Tiptoe, I just knew that it was going to be a nice experience. I've always wanted to have the startup experience of working or interning in a startup. So this is something definitely that started my interest in doing more internships
Here.
in other companies. So if you have any final words that you'd like to share about you or the brand, I'd love for you to do
Yeah,
that.
I'll go back then to the mission. Like every day, you can make choices about what you do, how you do it, what you eat, etc. Just be conscious about it. We have only one planet, and even if it's like a bit negative to tell that, and it's not very a marketing way of explaining our product, but like yeah, if you do something and you can have impact on a personal level but also on a professional level, please choose the impactful thing to do. A lot of people are wasting their brilliant minds to do jobs without any impact. And yeah, that would be my final words.